I saw her on the stairs. Pris.
Don't take it so hard, Rick said. Where's your phone? The special said nothing, did nothing except stand, so Rick hunted for the phone himself and dialed Harry Bryant's office. When he got back to his own apartment building, Iran met him on the roof. She looked at him in a deranged, peculiar way. Anyhow, it's over, he said, putting his arm around her. And I've been thinking, maybe Harry Bryant can assign me to...
Rick, I have to tell you something. Sorry. The goat is dead.
For some reason, it did not surprise him. It only made him feel worse. I think there's a guarantee in the contract, he said. If it gets sick within...
It didn't get sick. Someone came here, got the goat out of its cage, and dragged it to the edge of the roof.
And pushed it off?
Yes.
Did you see who did it?
I saw her very clearly. Barbara was up here. He came down to get me and we called the police, but by then the animal was dead and she had left. A small, young-looking girl with dark hair and large black eyes, very thin, wearing a long fish scale coat. She made no effort to keep us from seeing her, as if she didn't care.
No, she didn't care. Rachel wouldn't have given a damn if you saw her. She probably wanted you to, so I'd know who had done it. He kissed her. You've been waiting up here all this time?
Only for a half an hour. That's when it happened. Half an hour ago.
Iran gently kissed him back.
It's so awful.
He turned toward his parked car, opened the door, and got behind the wheel.
Where are you going? Won't you come downstairs and be with me? There was the most shocking news on TV. Buster Friendly claims that Mercer is a fake. What do you think about that, Rick? Do you think it could be true?
Everything is true. Everything anybody has ever thought.
Will you be all right?
I'll be all right, he said and thought. And I am going to die. Both those are true, too. He closed the car door, flicked a signal with his hand to Iran, and then swept up into the night sky. Once, he thought, I would have seen the stars, years ago, but now it's only the dust. No one has seen a star in years, at least not from Earth. Maybe I'll go where I can see stars, he said to himself as the car headed away from San Francisco, toward the uninhabited desolation to the north, to the place where no living thing would go, not unless it felt that the end had come. In the early morning light, the land below him extended seemingly forever, gray and refuse-littered. Once, he thought, crops grew here, and animals grazed. He brought the hover car down, coasted above the surface. What would Dave Holden say about me now, he asked himself. In one sense, I'm now the greatest bounty hunter who ever lived. I ought to call him. He clicked off the ignition, glided for an interval, and then set the hover car down. Picking up the receiver of the car's phone, he dialed San Francisco.
Mount Zion Hospital.
You have a patient named Dave Holden. Would it be possible for me to talk to him?
Just a moment and I'll check on that, sir.
Time passed. Rick took a pinch of Dr. Johnson's snuff and shivered. Without the car's heater, the temperature had begun to plunge.
No, sir,
the operator said.
Dr. Costa says that Mr. Holden is not receiving calls.
This is police business. He held his ID up.
Just a moment. No, sir. Dr. Costa does not feel Mr. Holden's condition will permit him to take any calls.
Okay, Rick said. He hung up. The car had become too cold now, so he opened the door and stepped out. A noxious, unexpected wind filtered through his clothes and he began to walk. It would have been rewarding to talk to Dave, he decided. Dave would have approved of what I did. But also he would have understood the other part, which I don't think even Mercer comprehends. For Mercer, everything is easy, he thought, because Mercer accepts everything. Nothing is alien to him. But what I've done, that's become alien to me. He walked on, up the hillside, and with each step the weight on him grew. As he plodded along, a vague and almost hallucinatory pall hazed over his mind. Here the dead stones, the dust-stricken weeds perceived nothing. At that moment, the first rock, and it was not rubber or soft foam plastic, struck him in the inguinal region, and the pain, the first knowledge of absolute isolation and suffering, touched him throughout. He halted, and then, goaded on, the goad invisible but real, not to be challenged, he resumed his climb. Mercer? He stopped, stood still. In front of him, a shadowy figure, motionless. Wilbur Mercer? Is that you?